all the things that you consider as poisonous are used as a part of their medicine. 9 deadly poisons, you heard of Navapashana. All the 9 deadly poisons are used as medicine. I'm still alive only because of Mercury, not otherwise. So, Siddha is a very completely different kind of medicine system than anything that you will find on the planet, but it needs a Siddha to give Siddha medicine. If you are not established, if you can't hold the mercury, you don't give mercury to somebody else. If not in liquid form, in solid form, solidified mercury, people do practices, keeping it in their mouth and doing things and whatever. There are various aspects to it. Nobody try that here, okay? We don't want you dead. Ayurveda means the science of aliveness. Ayur means aliveness, being alive, to bringing vitality to life, not to be inviting diseases and then trying to banish them from the system. So Ayurveda, what it means is, after all, this body is an accumulation of this planet. It's a piece of this planet. But how you gather it makes all the difference. Everything on the planet, everything that grows upon the planet is just the same soil. But different things that have come out of the planet have different kinds of impacts on the life that is here. When you call someone a goat, that means he's unintelligent. At least in India, it's a term used. He's like a goat, means he lacks intelligence. When you're in dim company, you call them goats. But the goat knows what to eat, what not to eat. Goat is supposed to eat everything, but that's not true. I have closely observed the goat. And you will see goat is very selective of how much of what it should eat on a particular day. It is very selective about that. It knows how much of what it should eat for its well-being. Because human beings are not aware enough. In India, goat's milk is considered very healthy and medicinal in quality because a goat eats various plants of medicinal value and you may get something out of it. Instead of drinking cow's milk, when people lack vitality in the body, people switch to goat's milk because there are many herbal medicines in the goat's milk. And goat selectively eats what it needs on a particular day in a particular quantum. So, even a goat knows, but why is it that human beings have such an issue about knowing what they should eat and what they should not eat? Because they're not using their senses to eat what they should eat. They're trying to think it up. Once they start thinking things up, then you don't know what is true and what's not true. This is the nature of your thought, please understand. If you start thinking something about this person, you think for 3 months about this one person, after some time you do not know what's true about her, what's not true about her, because your thoughts will make you believe all kinds of things. Many times, people have taken the effort to disillusion you. Whatever you thought about them, haven't they tried? They tried successfully, isn't it? So, Ayurveda means to have the necessary sense to understand of all the things, millions of things that come out of this planet, to be able to recognizing that what kind of impact it has on you. This used to be, now people are trying to write it down and say, this is it, this is it. Otherwise, the traditional Ayurvedic doctor would always be located next to a forest or a place like that, like how we are located in India. Now if you come and sit here, looking at your particular need, then he will say, wait, and he will go into the forest. He has your vibes within him. With this he goes and he chooses what is needed for this person, brings fresh herbs, prepares and gives. Like a miracle, it's gone. Because it's not the chemistry of the plant. It is trying to match the life process of the plant and yours in such a way that you create a science of aliveness out of it. We cannot go to that extent today, but we have identified. We still manage to do that in the rejuvenation center to some extent, but with the bottles being exported to America, we cannot do that. So we have identified those things which will cause aliveness to you. Mind you, aliveness, not stretching your life. If you do things to just stretch your life, it will be a torturous life. If you're trying to drag something or anything forcefully, especially yourself, through any situation, that's going to be a torturous experience always for you. So especially with the whole life process as such, if you're trying to stretch this, it will be miserable. It will be pathetic, which you are seeing unfortunately today. We are stretching people's lives to 90, 95, 100, but they don't know why they are there. It's an experiment. If you go into… I don't know, I walked into one of the geriatric clinics, it's pathetic. They don't know why they even exist. They're simply people who lived with dignity, people who lived well. Now we've made them into simply these kind of people. If you stretch life, this is what happens. If you generate aliveness, it will last as long as it can last. When it has to go, it will go well. Stretching life makes a human being lose all his dignity, all his humanity, everything that he ever valued in his life, everything he will lose towards the end of his life. Have you seen this happening, unfortunately? People who lived well will be made to go in a most undignified way simply because somebody is interested in stretching their life. Good for the business. I think, I don't know the exact statistics, I think I read something about 80% of the medication, the pharmaceutical purchases, happen for people who are over 65 years of age. Is that right? Something like that. So we want to stretch their life because it's good for the business. What's good for the business is good for the economy. What's good for the economy is good for the ruling party, and so many benefits are there, except the value of human life. Everything else is good. So Ayurveda is not about stretching your life, it is a science of aliveness. This is a chemical soup. Only when the soup is like that, tastes good. A little more of this, little more of that, it's no good. So, Ayurveda is that to just get this chemical soup right so that it throbs, it pulsates with life, not about stretching life. So these are not really medicines, these are all things. If people who are cooking were aware, as they used to be, it was very common. If when my mother was around, if the children, one or two of them are running temperature or somebody's having a stomachache, somebody's having something, means she knows what to cook today. Now, today's mothers, they can only run to the doctor. They have no clue what to cook today. They'll do an MRI, stomachache, MRI. So, because there is nobody around you who's aware enough to add these ingredients into your life, it has been brought down to medicine level or in the form of a capsule or something, maintaining the fundamental quality of what it is, not treating it chemically, not doing some other modification with it, just the way it is supposed to be. It's a natural product as it is. Just making sure it's preserved because of desiccation and those kind of processes, but not really any kind of additive. Now, because nobody's adding the right ingredients to your soup on a daily basis, you pop it yourself. These are not medicines. Medicines will come later. These are not necessarily for the sick, these are for those who want to be alive. These are not even supplements. This should have been part of your eating. If you were a goat, you would have chosen which of the 5 you should eat today and how much. Because you are not one, it is coming in the bottle. Medicines will come later. Ayurvedic medicines are different. Herbal additives are different. If you lived in nature, many of these things would have naturally been part of your diet and it would have worked very well. But now that we eat out of a superstore, we are eating out of a marketplace, not out of nature. Because of that, these things have to be added, and I think it will be a very important addition, particularly to the western part of the world. Genuine herbs which can make a difference in one's aliveness. And you don't need health, you need aliveness. If this is alive enough, it will create health. The one who is here, if he is alive enough, it will generate health. You don't have to every day calculate how much of what. If this is kept alive, health will be a natural manifestation of that. So, Isha Herbal is one step towards this. On a different level, we laid the foundation stone for Isha Arogya hospital very close to the ashram, which is a combination of allopathic, Ayurvedic, Siddha Vaidya and yoga and naturopathy. And Isha Arogya pharmacies, also the first one opened in Salem. We are planning to open about 125, a chain of 125 stores like this, where there is an allopathic doctor, a Siddha doctor. Over 70% of the medicine there is either Siddha medicine or Ayurvedic medicine, but an allopathic doctor diagnoses, prescriptions happen by the local doctors. But if somebody has come with an infection or something else where allopathic system of treatment is best, they will get that treatment, otherwise they will get other kinds of therapies. This has never been done before. The problem is usually people who have studied modern medicine or allopathic system of medicine, they rubbish everything else. People who are Ayurvedic enthusiasts, they think allopathy is all damaging and no good and all that. Siddha people think Ayurveda is still immature. Like this it goes on. Everybody is committed to a system. So when I put these 5 systems together, including homeopathy and Unani and everything, 5, 6 systems together, people said, how can this work in one place? So I told them, I am not committed to any system. I am committed to human health. That's why all of them in one place.
Siddha medicine is more related to spiritual and environment. And now the Siddha medicine is dying and the medicinal plant also dying. Do you have any plan for Siddha medicine?
Well, we have done some work on the Siddha medicine. We are using Siddha medicine very effectively. But the problem that we have found with Siddha medicine is, this problem is there with Ayurveda also, but much more with Siddha. We are finding that the input, the ingredients which go into it, they need to be of a certain quality, which is very difficult to manage. These things a Siddha Vaidya is conscious of. If you pluck the tree in the morning, how it is. If you pluck the leaf in the evening, what is its quality? If you pluck it in summer, what's its quality? If you pluck it after rain, what is the quality? All these things they're conscious, but they're not able to maintain it. We are using Siddha very effectively, but in a small scale. We've been experimenting for over 20 years to increase the scale. But if you stretch the scale, the effectiveness goes down. This is a big challenge. This is where the modern medicine or the allopathic medicine is super effective because they're just chemicals. You can produce any amount of tons and tons of tablets you can produce. But Siddha medicine is not like that, it's very organic and there is an elemental part to it which needs a certain level of expertise for people to be able to use it. There are heavy metals, there is use of mercury in Siddha very effectively. These things need application. It's not like a 5-year MBBS you did and there you are. This needs a lot of involvement in application, that you need to understand these things experientially, and procuring ingredients has become very difficult. Because we live right next to a fantastic mountain in our background, we have the privilege of having access to certain things, but we try to move this to United States because we have a clinic there. But the moment it dries up, the desiccated ones, the preserved ones, refrigerated ones don't have the same impact, don't have the same quality. So, scale is a big problem. This is something nobody will admit, but I'm telling you, any Ayurvedic medicine, whatever company it is, from one batch to another batch, the variation can be 300%. You understand? 300% variation. Because maintaining batch quality in Ayurvedic medicine and particularly in Siddha medicine is nearly impossible because nobody can control in what condition this particular leaf is when you pluck it. Even if you take enormous care, the batch quality is not happening. One batch is fantastic, another batch is down there, another batch is somewhere in between. This is the problem with this traditional medicine. Only when it's fresh and right there, it works in a fantastic way. You will see those of them who are coming towards rejuvenation, our rejuvenation programs, there are incredible health stories there, how they've been cured of most incredible things that they never believed, no doctor believed possible, they've come out of it. But we are not pushing it out because we're still not capable of scaling it up. Now we're in the process of setting up a 1200-bed alternative hospital, but we are doing this because we have the power of yogic practices. We are not depending on just the medicine, so we are able to go there, but scaling it up is a huge problem. And the land was rich with lot of herbs and everything available, Siddha medicine prospered. But now that you have to go to one particular hill to get this, it's not working the same way. This is also a possibility for agricultural students, that if you find an enterprise, if not you, somebody else
is doing an enterprise on alternative health systems, if you do agriculture around it of only medicinal plants, it can be an extremely lucrative process. At the same time, it can produce effective medicine for that region. So this is the only way to bring back Ayurveda and Siddha in an effective way. If agriculture and horticulture students go into it, that if somebody is willing to set up a hospital, around that you will grow medicinal plants in the right kind of quality in an organic manner, this could bring back traditional medicine back into an effective process rather than starting factories, which is not really a best way to do it.
எனக்கு பேக் பெயின் இருக்குது. ஸோ நான் சித்தா மெடிசன் எடுத்துகிட்ருக்கேன். ஒரு 1.5 மந்த்தாக எடுத்துகிட்ருக்கேன். இப்போ ரொம்ப பெட்டராக இருக்குது. எல்லா ப்ராக்டிஸும் என்னால் பண்ண முடியுது. ஆனால் இந்த சித்தா மெடிசனில் ஏதோ மெட்டல் கலக்கிறதா சொல்கிறாங்க. அலோபதிக்கும் ஆயுர்வேதா இதெல்லாம் கம்பேர் பண்ணும்போது இந்த சித்தா மெடிசன் என்ன மாதிரி நம்ம உடம்புல தாக்கம் செய்யுது?
Essentially, the difference between Ayurveda and Siddha and allopathy is just this. Allopathy is purely chemicals, chemical manipulation of the system. When it's an emergency, you must use it. But if it's a long… if it's a chronic ailment which is going to be with you for a long time, and you're going to take some medicine for a long time, definitely popping pills for long periods of time is not a good thing. So Ayurveda is herbal. Herbs are also chemicals, but in natural form. It's way better than taking it in a synthetic form. Ayurveda needs a certain amount of application and knowledge because there are over 300,000, okay? 300,000 Ayurvedic formulations according to the ancient texts. 300,000 formulations you have to understand if you have to really prescribe Ayurveda. So, prescribing or practicing Ayurveda is it needs a lifelong involvement. These days I see people come from outside the country, they study Ayurveda for 1.5 months and they're certified Ayurvedic teachers or doctors, practitioners, which is a very dangerous thing to do. 300,000 formulations, how to give it, to whom to give it, when to give it, it's not a simple thing to understand. It takes a lot. Above all, you need a phenomenal understanding of the body to be able to prescribe this. Siddha is very different in the sense, Siddha is essentially elemental in nature. There are herbs, but essentially it's elemental in nature. It comes more from the yogic science, because the fundamental of yogic science is in bhuta shuddhi or in cleansing of one's elements. This is an evolution from the yogic science, and Siddha Vaidya was essentially formulated by Agastya Muni, and they say Adiyogi himself practiced it and Agastya brought it to the south, and only in the south it lived, nowhere else. And it's elemental in nature, which needs less study but more internal mastery for the person who practices it, which is again a problem today. We hope these young people who are starting their sadhana at the age of 6 and they're going to be in sadhana throughout their growing period, these kind of people can take to Siddha very effortlessly because the necessary sadhana is there within them. Siddha Vaidya cannot happen without sadhana. Today they have set up colleges for Siddha Vaidya, which it will not work like that. They're picking up bits and pieces from the text and trying to practice that. Quackery, Siddha quackery is happening. Siddha Vaidya is not happening because Siddha Vaidya has to be practiced by a Siddha. It is a Siddha who can practice Siddha Vaidya. Siddha means an established one who is firmly established within himself, because it's elemental in nature. Because it's elemental, it's not really a medicine as such. You are dealing with the fundamental material which makes the body. You're not trying to infuse some other medicine into it. So usage of metals is very much prevalent in Siddha. I know the Western medicine will immediately brand it as nonsense, but in Siddha, all the things that you consider as poisonous are used as a part of their medicine. 9 deadly poisons, you heard of Navapashana. All the 9 deadly poisons are used as medicine. Lead is very frequently used, mercury is regularly used. Rasavaidya is very much part of Siddha Vaidya. And for those of you who are calling for God's help, when I mentioned the word mercury, mercury is not poisonous. It is just with mercury oxides, people have poisoned water. It is irresponsible usage in the industry which has done this. There is mercury in the soil, okay? We did not import mercury from Mars, it's always been in this planet. It is not poison. It is mercury oxides which are irresponsibly used in industry and let out into the rivers and lakes, which poisoned the waters on this planet. Now they think mercury is poison. No, mercury is not poison, but if you drink it, it'll kill you. Not because you can absorb it as poison. It is because of its sheer weight. If you put it into the stomach, it will not go through the pipe, it will just drip through the stomach because of its sheer weight. Because its specific gravity is almost 14 times that of water. Because of that, because of sheer weight, if you place it in your hand, it just goes into your hand through the pores. Similarly, if you put it into the stomach, it'll go through the stomach, it'll not go through the intestine. Because of that, it may kill you, because it bores holes. Not because it's acidic, simply because of sheer weight. But consumption of mercury is very much a part of the yogic system and very much a part of the Siddha Vaidya. I am still alive only because of mercury, not otherwise. So, Siddha is a very completely different kind of medicine system than anything that you will find on the planet, but it needs a Siddha to give Siddha medicine. If you are not established, if you can't hold the mercury, you don't give mercury to somebody else. Yogic system has always used mercury. Mercury and yogis are always together. You cannot… Even you will see, traveling yogis will carry a little bit of mercury with them always. If not in liquid form, in solid form, solidified mercury. People do practices, keeping it in their mouth and doing things and whatever. There are various aspects to it. Nobody try that here, okay? We don't want you dead. It's not just bad things that kill you, good things that you're not ready for can kill you.